Would you like to see Dighton taxes go up to pay for a library upgrade? I'm Bill Mello, Dighton resident, speaking to you from 5th Bristol Studio, and today we're talking about the proposed $2 million Dighton Library project and whether it's worth seeing our taxes go up because of it. Are libraries good? Of course they are. That's why we already have a certified library located adjacent to Town Hall. We also have libraries at the elementary school and the middle school and at the high school. And there are also small neighborhood library boxes. This one's maintained by the Girl Scouts, and this one is maintained by a Dighton resident. Should Dighton upgrade our library services at a cost of more than $2 million? If it were a coveted service that the town residents relied on, I suppose that would make sense. However, in my estimation, less than 1% of the town uses the library. I'm open to hearing better data from anyone who has it. After all, this is an era of smartphones and computers. We can instantly summon information about a topic, get access to any book, movie, or video downloaded right to the supercomputer in our pockets. If you want a physical copy of the book, you can press a button, and for a few bucks, a paper book will be delivered to your house. Meanwhile, if you don't want to go the electronic route, our current library is already part of the sales network. You can get any library book delivered to the library right next door to Town Hall. And if the library building itself doesn't suit you, you're welcome to use any of the libraries in any of Dighton's surrounding communities. Bottom line, we already have a lot of library options. So, should Dighton be spending more than $2 million to upgrade the library? You heard right, more than $2 million. See the breakout here from a presentation created by our town administrator, Michael Mullen. At the 2022 annual town meeting, 192 people from our town voted, and enough approved to move forward with the purchase of a $790,000 library building. This cost would be covered by ARPA funding. And oh, by the way, ARPA money is also paid for by your tax money. It's just coming out of your income tax instead of out of your town property tax. But that's beside the point. What was not apparent to the voters was the exorbitant cost for extensive renovations that would be necessary to complete the library. In addition to accepting the ARPA money at the 2022 Dighton Annual Town Meeting, attended by only 192 residents, the town voted to spend $150,000 out of Dighton's stabilization funds for exterior renovations of the building. Expensive, but acceptable. What the town didn't know was that $150,000 was only a fraction of what the library trustees needed to complete the library project. At this very moment, there is still unfunded and extensive interior restoration that needs to take place. And then, once that's complete, we'll need to figure out how to furnish and equip the building. All told, the total project value is currently projected to cost more than $2 million. But the real cost is unknown, as projects like this typically overrun. Here's the conclusion that I've come to. Spending this money does not make any sense, and I'll tell you why. The Library Board of Trustees' current plan to pay for this project is to consume every spare dollar they can find in town. First, they intend on raiding about $500,000 out of the Dighton Capital Stabilization Fund. The purpose of this fund is to cover costs for unforeseen town expenses, in addition to capital projects. In a few moments, I'll tell you about some of the other unfunded capital projects that we should be saving this money for. The library trustees also have their eye on the bank account of the Community Preservation Committee, also known as the CPC, which is money budgeted to preserve our town's character. The library board essentially wants to consume almost all of the CPC money, more than $300,000. These are your tax dollars. And in case you haven't noticed, in Dighton, we pay a lot of taxes. We're told that we have to pay them to keep the town functioning, but that should not include spending $2 million on a library upgrade for a library that almost nobody uses, for a service that is not essential and that's already available anyway without an expensive building restoration. Look around town and you'll see some other projects that actually do deserve priority. Dighton pays a higher tax rate than any of the surrounding communities. A higher tax rate than Berkeley, Somerset, Swansea, Taunton, and Rehoboth. Check out this map. It's crazy. And what do we get for that premium? Our entire fourth grade attends school in a makeshift temporary space metal building instead of an actual building worthy of an institution. What message does that send our children about the importance of education? No wonder Dighton students are currently unenrolling from Dighton schools at record rates. A feasibility study is currently underway that will come back with a recommendation for how to expand our school facilities. We need to look ahead and consider how we're going to pay for that project when the study's complete. Do you think the town should be spending up the stabilization fund now on a luxury library when we have kids attending school in trailers? What country is this? Dighton also doesn't have enough water to serve the entire community, a basic need. Annual water bans prohibiting people from maintaining their properties, being able to wash their cars in their own driveways, or even to allow children to play in a sprinkler on a hot summer day. Meanwhile, our water rates have skyrocketed, and this problem will cost millions of dollars to solve. Shouldn't we be planning ahead? Next, the Bristol-Plymouth expansion project has put Dighton on the hook to pay about $23 million. At least that's what the most recent number was that I heard. It keeps on going up. We haven't figured out how to pay for this yet, and that cost is not yet reflected in our taxes. We're already in a hole, folks. Let's stop digging. Another one. Our fire chief, Chief McGee, has raised concerns that the fire department has outgrown its current facilities. There's insufficient bunk space for the firefighters. Septic systems are failing. The fire equipment barely fits into the current equipment bays. As the town continues to grow, it's inevitable that the fire stations will need to expand. We have a committee currently studying this need. The town needs to plan ahead and not spend all our money on library upgrades when we know we're going to need it for public safety. When I say the town, I mean you, the Dighton taxpayers. You're the ones that need to come to town meeting and vote for or against these initiatives. And these are just the highlights. We still have infrastructure issues, bridges that need to be repaired, large businesses leaving town along with their tax revenue that we're going to have to somehow make up for. Can anyone honestly say that a library should be a priority when we still have all these unsolved town problems? Let's get our priorities straight. We got into this tax whirlpool in Dighton because for decades we spent money that we didn't have, and we're still doing it. Should we allow a library board to trawl through our town budgets, sucking up money when we have real financial priorities for basic needs, education, and public safety? I'm going to leave that question with you, the taxpayers. I know what I'm voting for. Thank you for your time. I'm Bill Mello from 5th Bristol Studio. I look forward to seeing you at our next annual town meeting on May 1st, 2023, where you can make a difference.